Hello, everybody. My name is Ray Walker, and I'm here with my co-host,
Ellie.
and this is another podcast episode of Dear
Denison.
So, Ellie, in this episode, can you tell the people what we're going to talk about?
Of course, so today we're going to talk about freshman year and our experience as a first year on Denison's campus.
Everybody's first year experience is different, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our experience, which will be different from yours, but yours will also be unique. Ellie, so should we tell them a little bit about our first year experience?
Yeah, I think we should. I think that's exactly what we should do. I think we should find a way to give some tips and some advice before they arrive on campus.
So me and Ellie are going to ask each other a few questions. And as you can see behind us, we have the beautiful Swayze background.
Got a new background.
Wonderful. Where are we at, Ellie?
We're in the Denison admissions office, so we've upgraded from our dorm rooms.
Yes, we have. And Swayze just looks so beautiful back there. And so, Ellie, I'm going to ask you a few questions. I hope you will ask me some as well. And we're going to talk about our first year experience. So to start off, I have a question for you, Ellie.
What's that question?
I was waiting to see if you were ready.
I'm ready.
Can you tell me a little about what your first year experience was like here on the Hill?
I can, yeah. So I am an international student. So my first year experience was a little different from the domestic students, but similar in many ways. I came to Denison with my parents, but it was the first time I had ever visited campus was when I was moving in. So I'd never seen Denison. The only images I'd seen of Denison were on YouTube or on the website. So it was a massive leap of faith. So my parents moved me in, and we stayed in the Granville Inn for the week, and we got all my stuff from Target, and it was really, really exciting. And that's when I began my orientation, which we'll talk about a bit later. But yeah, there was lots of things to adjust to, especially moving to a different country. It was very scary, but it was okay because very, very quickly I met a lot of friends, and everyone that walked past you said hi, and that's what's great about Denison. It's such a small school that even though I was 3,577 miles away from home,
The exact number,
I wrote it on a birthday card for my mum or something. Even though I was 3,577 miles from home, everyone was still saying hi to me, and I felt like I had a little family on campus.
Wow.
What about you, Ray? Can you tell me a little bit about your freshman year moving 30 minutes up the road? Tell me how hard that was for you.
Wow, yes, it was indeed hard. I hailed all the way from Columbus, which is a great city, by the way, a growing city.
Plug Columbus.
Plug that. 30 minutes, great city. But my first year experience was very different from Ellie's. I went to Columbus City Schools, and Denison created this program called Denison Columbus Alliance Scholars, where they help Columbus City school students integrate into the wonderful Denison community. And so originally I was hesitant about coming to Denison, but for a number of reasons. But once I got here, I realized that this was the place to be. I started making so many friends and I started flourishing because of like Ellie said, the people here, they're so loving and they're so kind. So I started off wondering, was this really what I wanted? But once I stepped on the Hill told me that this was what I wanted. So a great experience integrating to Denison all around. And so Ellie, you mentioned PreOrientation. So I'm curious to know, did you do a PreOrientation, and how did that go for you?
Yeah, so because I'm an international student, I did the international orientation. And so what that meant was there were 106 of us. That figure might be wrong, but I think there was 106 international students that arrived on campus 1 week before the domestic students, before all the other students. And during this orientation, it gives us a chance to learn things about campus, like go on a tour of Granville, like really settle in before the flood of Americans come in. I remember my friend Aisling, hello Aisling, Aisling said to me, make sure you save some energy during pre-orientation for the Americans arriving.
Oh no!
Because it's gonna be big. Because
Stop.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a saying back home that Americans are so much bigger than everything we do in Europe, and it's true.
Stop.
But yeah, so I was on the international orientation, and that orientation helped me set up a phone, a SIM card. It helped me get a bank account down at Chase in Granville. It dealt with a lot of the things that most kids coming from a different country need, and so it was very, very helpful, and it was a nice way to settle into Denison before the others arrived.
Definitely, the Americans arrived.
Yeah, the Americans. But what about you? Because you did a pre-orientation, but it wasn't international. It was
the Denison Service Orientation,
DSL.
DSO.
Oh yeah.
And I have to plug it. It's the best orientation there is. And I say that for many reasons. One reason, I'm big on service. So this orientation specifically focused on service, and I like traveling. So we got a chance to travel to Washington, D.C. and do service within grassroots organizations within D.C. while also meeting new Denisonians at the same time. So I got to do service and build relationships with people that are still my friends to this very day. Some of my closest friends actually I met on Denison Service Orientation. That relationship has just continued to grow. So big plug to DSO, Denison Service Orientation. And Ellie, there are also some other orientations as well. I think we have Juno, right?
Oh yeah. Oh.
I've been a Juno leader for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And Juno helps students integrate really well, especially throughout the summer. They bring them here and do different programming and let them see the campus. But what other one do we have?
We have Ogle.
Ogle.
Which is basically straight after international orientation. So that's when everyone comes on campus, and we have Ogle. And Ray's been an Ogle leader, I believe. Is that right?
I couldn't do it because I'm a community advisor.
Oh, so you weren't an Ogle leader?
I was a Juno, not an Ogle.
Let's just pause for a second. Yeah, Ogle. So, Ogle is awesome. It happens right after international orientation, and it is when you get together with everyone on your floor and your CA, and they sort of like they play games, and you just get to know everyone, and it's a really nice way to meet the people on your floor. It was good fun. What was your experience with Ogle, Ray?
Ogle was good for me. Like you said, I got to meet a lot of people on my floor. And Shorty, for me, this is the best dorm.
That's not true.
Every dorm is great.
That's not true. If you want to sleep, don't go to Shorty.
Every dorm is great, but during the application process, it's based on your preferences and how you choose it. And housing does a really good job of trying to match students up with their preferences. So I just messed up with Shorty, and it just happened to be really fun for me. But moving along, Ellie, Denison is a diverse place with people that come from all walks of life. As you can see, I came from Columbus, and my wonderful co-host came from Scotland. And so, was there a culture shock for you, Ellie, coming here?
Yes. Yes, and it's one that I didn't expect, because coming to the US, I had sort of, I'd watched lots of American movies, and I'd sort of, like, both countries speak English, like, we both have very similar cultures, I believe, but there was still a massive shock factor, and it was in the little things. It was things like, not having a pack of Doritos and then realizing that it tastes nothing like what it says it's going to taste like. And that happened with food every single time I eat, and it still happens. Everything I go to eat is never tastes like what I expect it to taste like. There are lots of other culture shocks that came in. Like on a more serious one, would be the sort of, like, I before I came to the US, I didn't have a deep understanding in the in systematic racism that happens, like, within the United States. And so coming from a predominantly white country and entering into the US was a massive eye-opener, and it just, like, it forced me to educate myself, because we don't get taught in the UK the things that you guys get taught about the US. Like, that's not our history.
Right.
So it really, so that was an eye-opener too. There were lots of, like, tiny little things, but that was a big one. But yeah, what about you, Ray? Culture shock coming from Columbus?
Yeah, it was more so along the lines of race, like you were mentioning. Being a black man coming from Columbus, there's not many people that looked like me. So I remember my first class ever. I walked in and I was the only black man in a class full of all white students, and I honestly felt out of place. And I remember calling my mom afterwards and being like, "Mom, this isn't for me." But over time, I understood that I belonged there. And that's what it's all about, understanding that you're here for a reason and that you belong in this space because you worked hard to be in this space. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just spaces that you learn how to navigate over time. And like I said, it's become a place that I really love for many reasons. And so that's just one of the culture shocks that just stood out for me specifically. And so, Ellie, last thing I want to get to is classes, which are a big part of the Denison community and curriculum. So, what was it like for you in coming into Denison and navigating your coursework? It's a different level of academia.
Yeah, okay, so I knew what the liberal arts system was, but I also didn't, because if I did, I would not be starting my major second semester sophomore year, and my minor at that. I've not started anything yet, but hey, it's fine. So freshman year was all about exploring different classes, and I'm glad I did it, because I came to Denison as a math and theatre major, and I am now a French major with a minor in cinema, possibly major. And so taking all the different classes freshman year allowed me to explore different career paths, and it's all about being open to it. You know, liberal arts is about changing your mindset and having a holistic education. And so if you come in with a major you want to do, that's amazing. But like, if you're also open to exploring different things that you might enjoy, like, that's also a really awesome way to spend your freshman year, taking different classes that you think you might like, and exploring different possibilities. What about you? What about you?
What about me? Ellie, you hit on a lot of the major points about exploring different things. But for me, I remember, like I said, my first class, I was hit with a lot, and one of them was the syllabus. And I looked at it and was like, wow, how am I going to get all this work done? And I remember just being so flustered and frustrated. And then I realized, okay, what's going to work for you? I got myself a planner, planned out everything in the syllabus, and honestly, that saved my life from here on out. And so that's one thing I recommend. Plan out your schedules, and that will be great for you. We hope this was insightful, and it told you a little bit about our experience during our first year, and which will be very different from yours, but yours will also be unique. And we hope you'll continue to tune in, right, Ellie?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the last episode. You gotta come back, you gotta watch more, and hopefully we help you. Hopefully this helped a little bit with your transition to coming to Denison as a freshman. And yeah, we've got lots more stories and insights to give you, so watch the next episode.
Stay tuned, subscribe. This is Dear Denison.
Bye.